We're so happy to have a basketball legend with us
legend.
tonight in
Wow.
Minnesota. Khalid El-Amin, and if you didn't grow up here and you're maybe too young, this young man, I can still call you a young man, first broke into the spotlight in our state as the guy who directed Minneapolis North to 3 consecutive state titles. Let's look at the resume for Khalid El-Amin, who did so many things. The 3rd title, by the way, high school title at North, came 20 years ago. Moves on to UConn, where he won a championship. 34th pick of the Bulls in 2000, played there for a year, and has moved on to 16 total years in professional basketball. Khalid, welcome. Great to have you here. I know you remember a lot of things about your high school days.
Yes.
Certainly this game with 41 points. What stands out for you in all those years, all those games?
Well, just being part of Minnesota basketball. There's nothing like Minnesota basketball. I love it. I live it every day. It was with me when I went on to Connecticut and I turned professional. So just being a part of Minnesota basketball, growing up in North Minneapolis, it taught me a lot. It raised me, and it was just a fabulous thing of being part of Minnesota basketball.
Khalid, how about maybe 10 years ago when there was some talk that maybe North might shut down? Did you get involved in that, or were you concerned much about that?
I think all the former players, all the former alumni was a part of that, trying to keep North open. It would have been ashamed if it closed. All the greatness that came out of Minneapolis North, even going back to the 30s when it first opened, it was just a prestigious school, and it still is. So for it to close, it would have been a shame. So we had to come out and keep it open and have the students come back into it, and it's a great thing that it has stayed open.
You fell in love with basketball as a young man.
Yes.
And this sport has literally taken you around the globe to play. The cover of Sports Illustrated after the national championship, an appearance on David Letterman, a long appearance on David Letterman. So many great things, and yet the core of it really goes back to loving this sport. What a great marriage it's been for you.
It definitely has. Basketball has been in my blood since at the age of 4, when my father put the basketball hoop on our family garage. And you know, like you said, I've just been a part of it my whole life. I had 2 older brothers that went to Minneapolis North that raised me. I was able to play with their family and with their friends, you know, getting better playing with older guys, and just being a part of the game. Like I said, it has raised me, and I'm very blessed to have went around the world because I was able to dribble the basketball.
All right, Khalid, talk about the state tournament this year. Your son was playing for Hopkins.
Yes.
Give me your impression of the tournament.
Well, for this tournament, it was a fantastic tournament. I was doing a little bit of color for the Champlain Park Chaska game, which ended with the miracle shot. It was a fabulous game, but it was definitely a lot of competition. It's the way the Minnesota State tournament should be. There's a lot of great players in the state of Minnesota. I'm sure it's up in the teens and as far as players that's going on to play Division I and going on to the next level. So, like I said, Minnesota basketball is nothing like it.
Let me ask you this, Khalid, is if you're the head coach of Minneapolis North, and you can be in whatever class you want to be in, because let's face it, North has been just clobbering everybody once they get to the state tournament, even in the sectionals too. What level, what class should they be in?
Well, of course, I would vie for them to be in the top class, the biggest class with the biggest schools. That can be said for a couple of teams. I believe, you know, Minnesota basketball should definitely go back to the Sweet 16 for the state tournament to have the 1 champion. I kind of think 4 champions is a little bit too much for the state of Minnesota, but that's my opinion. But I think it's the right way to go. But I believe North should be in the top class.
Your passion and joy for the game still shines through, and it's just terrific to have you join us here on the set tonight. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I'm glad to be here. Hopefully you can see more of me.
I agree. Khalid El-Amin,